We are the Group 1, and our topic is culture shock. Today, an increasing number of people would like to go to America, England, Canada, and other countries for study. Therefore, culture shock begins people's vision. Culture shock has a lot of aspects. I will analyze different. With the emergence of more and more international students, the adjustment to the school life has become a problem for most students. They come from different countries. They have different traditional and styles. In other words, they can quickly adjust the an environment. Through the observation of many students, I think different thinking is very important. Is a very important factors. Different people affected by different cultures, so they have different thinking for study, friendship, and life. As an international student, I think we are supposed to adjust the local culture. By this way, we can better realize American thinking. Compared with Chinese thinking and American thinking, they have many different difference. We should realize ourselves firstly and then change our thinking to adjust the Chinese thinking. In study, most of students have developed the thinking of giving priority to teachers. They obey their rules and don't have other own idea. For example, I can interrupt my teachers talking or I will be out of the classroom. I can only do what my teacher allows me to do. Um, in class, a few teachers allows you to leave the seat to discuss the problem. In China, the teacher is regarded as authoritative and inviolable. In life, Chinese students are accustomed to having parents schedule their own schedules. They go to bank, supermarket, and others with their parents. In other words, Chinese students are dependent. American thinking. In study, they freedom. They always interrupt their professor's speech to ask questions. They can even leave their seats to discuss or go to restroom. In OSU, every professor would like to answer your question even if you interrupt their speeches. In life, American students prefer to do things by themselves. By comparison, we can realize the big difference between the Chinese and the American. We should go slowly to accept this change in life and study. We need to make ourselves more independent because we can only rely on ourselves in a place far away from home. What's more, we need to accept the change in study. We should break our ideological shackles to and try to ask some question. We can use the American way of thinking to deal with the problem.
First, Americans have different criteria of family. In China, elders are traditionally treated with respect and dignity, while the young are cherished and nurtured. And it's normal for Chinese that senior citizens live with their children. They will visit their children's kids when their children go to work. From the article Nancy Relationships and Friendships, the writer says Americans they feel cheaply distinguished their family from their friends and schoolmates. More than one international student remarked that the threats of family photos on student doors as if family didn't exist at school. From my own viewpoint, I think Americans' family are more independent than Chinese family. Second, the definition of friendship is also different from Chinese and Americans. In China, the meaning of friendships is a person who can help and support whenever and wherever, and your relationship will last for a long time. In America, if you guys are familiar with each other, you are friends, so their definition of friends are general and different. They have friends of playing and friends of studying. They have much more friends than Chinese, but their relationships are not stable. If they have a tough time, their friends will find excuse and cannot help them. In China, when they go outside with their friends, one will pay all the check, and in America, they will pay the checks separately. Also, the definition of roommates is also different. In China, roommates are very important for each other. When they want to eat or shop, they will ask their roommates first, and when they need help, they can find help from their roommates. It's important for Chinese to keep a good relationship between their roommates and them. In America, people don't have a strong relationship with their roommates. In article Nancy relationships and friendships, the mother feels sad because she cannot touch her roommate's things like public window even though her roommate doesn't live in the dorm. And when Maduro need help, her roommates just ignore her. Furthermore, Chinese people do not have the same concept of privacy as Americans do. For example, when Chinese meet each other, they usually talks about their ages, income, or friends, but the topics like ages is ignoring for the Americans. It's normal for Chinese that when they talk with each other, they set their hands on their friends' shoulders. If they do the same thing in American, people will think they are weirdo. In American, people prefer keeping a short distance with each other.
First of all, the different goals of education. American-style teaching aims at training students' critical thinking and creative thinking ability. Students must take an active part during class. Under such a teaching objective, students can not only deepen their understanding and master a lot of knowledge, but also reconsider and personalize the existing knowledge so as to improve their creative ability. The goal of classroom teaching in China is influenced by the rate of entrance examination. Most schools take the exam achievement as the goal of teaching, neglecting the cultivation of critical thinking and creative thinking ability. Secondly, the different teaching styles. American classroom teaching is mainly based on the classroom discussion. Students are the main body, teachers plays the role of organizer and guide, and the task is to help students find problems and solve problems. The discussion includes teacher and student interaction and classmates interaction. Chinese classroom teaching, although after years of reform, is still in the lecture. In such a teaching mode, the teacher is the main body. Students only know to passively take notes. In the minds of students, teachers and textbooks are always right, rarely find problems, but also dare not ask questions. Besides, the relationships between teacher and student are different. In Chinese classroom, the teacher is the leading role, authoritative, and the students are obedient to the teacher's teaching. In contrast, the classroom atmosphere in America is equal and friendly. Teachers and students are often focused on a particular problem, a point of view. In the classroom debate, each one expresses his own views. The teacher will not impose his opinion on the students. Last but not least, the classroom atmosphere between Chinese classroom and American classroom are totally different. The classroom teaching in China is rigorous. The teachers are steady and the students are disciplined. Teachers are always well prepared for the class, and they have to write a complete teaching plan and checked by their supervisor before they teach the students. American classroom atmosphere is comparative casual. Students can eat snack during class, stand up and hang around in the classroom when they need it, and go to the bathroom without asking. To sum up, there are many differences between Chinese classroom and American classroom, which might be a challenge for international students who start with. Once they get used to it, they will be more into American culture.
When people talk about culture shock, the food cannot be ignored. We can make a discussion for simply breaking up into three parts: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In the tradition of China, we think of breakfast as the key to start a new day. As a result, there are many different kinds of food for breakfast, such as noodles, steamed bun, and tofu pudding. Even the flavors differ very much from place to place. I really like the feeling that my stomach getting warm after breakfast. However, in America, people seem to take breakfast as optional, and the choices are limited as well. I cannot accept drinking cold water or milk in the morning as well as many Chinese students since these cold things irritate the body badly. For lunch and dinner, there are more abundant choices in China. We have the 8 different cuisines distributing in regions with different flavors. I think the cooking style in America is monotonous, respectively. It is true that the food in America is diversified, such as Chinese food, Indian food, and Korean food. But for American food itself, deep fried almost. Then we can talk about the use of oil. In China, people use oil not only for frying things, but also for making hot pot or something like that. Ingredients are also a big part in Chinese dietary. I know that most American people do not eat animal organs or some parts of the body, for instance, pig's feet, pork liver, even the brain. I could not accept most of the things when I was a child as well, but when I grew up, I found the beauty of them, their unique texture, great cooking method, and unforgettable flavor. Sticking with the theme of American food, there are only a few kinds of meat eaten in people's daily life. Veggies are various actually, but most of them are simply boiled. I do not mean that American food is not delicious. In contrast, I like the cheese and all the stuff about cheese. In my opinion, many Chinese students are just easily bored with the similar flavor and cooking method. Although a number of Chinese students cannot adapt to American dietary habits right now, I want to mention some of my advice to help them to make it through. Firstly, try something new. You do not know anything until you have tried it. There are also many kinds of food we cannot eat or rarely eat in China, such as avocado, blueberry, and some typical salads. Maybe you will find what you like. Moreover, try to cook for yourself. Everyone knows his or her bite of tastes best, and then he or she may cook a wonderful meal for him or herself. In addition, it needs exercise and practice definitely.